Algeria is determined to solve the conflicts spread around the world, especially those stirring controversy. The recent weather turbulence witnessed in the north, central and somewhat western regions of the country is expected to reach eastern province, predicting a rainy winter season. Plus, Nobel Peace Prize is awarded to National Dialogue Quartet in Tunisia. Hello ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Dzair News Live and welcome to this English News edition. First, in our top stories, and as mentioned in the headlines, Algeria is determined to solve the conflicts spread around the world, especially those stirring controversy. However, the last sarcastic declaration of the extreme right party leader Nicolas Sarkozy, who is preparing for the next French elections, were described by the Algerian Foreign Affairs Ministry as being totally inappropriate. Siham Sadou for more details.
Algeria is determined to solve conflicts spread around the world, especially those stirring controversy that Foreign Affairs Minister qualified as being totally absurd, such as concerning the last sarcastic declarations of the extreme right party leader Nicolas Sarkozy, who is covering all his political party's campaigns in order to prepare for the next French elections. To this effect, the extreme right party leader called for the revision of avian treaties signed between Algeria and France. It is our advantage to avoid the inflation of such kind of political talks, used just to make a speech while preparing their elections in France. For his part, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation replied to one of the most important political files concerning the diplomatic relations between Algeria and Morocco, notably questions of borders. The letter stated that the relation between both countries does not concern only one topic, but a practical environment must be granted. There are a lot of files that need to be discussed with Morocco. However, concerning our bilateral relationship, Morocco must respect the principles of the government's sovereignty. Furthermore, Ramtan Lamamra expressed his enthusiasm concerning the Libyan case, especially after the special UN envoy's declaration of the new Libyan constitution of a united government, which is the only solution to provide stability in the country.
In economy-related news, the FCU Forum, during its London trade mission, paid a visit to the globally renowned London Stock Exchange, where the Algerian delegation led by FCU President Ali Haddad discussed ways to revive the Algerian finance market and give a new breath to the neglected Algerian Stock Exchange, taking into account the British experience. Let's have a listen.
We are working hard to revive the Algerian Stock Exchange. The initiative taken by the FCE and the partnership they want to establish with the London Stock Exchange is a very important step because we need to learn from successful financial experiences. We need their help to adopt the best practices.
ونحاولون يعاونونا ونقلدوهم في لي بيست براكتيس يعني في لان البورصه تمشي يعني لي ستاندار انترناسيونال.
السوق المالي الجزائري تقرب من السوق المالي تاع لندن البريطاني.
The Algerian financial market needs to get closer to that of London, which is globally renowned. Mr. Haddad talked about its huge numbers. After the meeting we held with the managers here, we are heading towards the right direction to revive Algeria's financial market in collaboration with the London Stock Exchange.
Right. Today's meeting shows that there's terrific interest in what's going on in Algeria and Britain. The fact we had only standing room at this meeting with more people wanting to come, it's a good sign that the British-Algerian relationship is going from strength to strength, and Lady Olga Maitland and her Algerian partners are part of making that happen. The next step to making it happen, of course, is continuing to people to come here, to go to Algiers, to meet with companies and meet with the government and start making contracts happen. Clearly, Algeria is seen as a good place to do business. It's apart from its energy, it's got its human resources and it's got its location in Africa. and Africa itself is on a boom, and Britain has a strong historic links with Africa. So there are lots of reasons why Britain and Algeria should do well, historic and going on into the future.
How we would like to engage as a UK business is to work with the FCE to identify the businesses who have an appetite to look at the type of skill sets that they require right now, what skill sets they will require in the future, say 3-4 years time, because the skill sets in the future, because technology changes, you might find new skill sets are required. And we look at that with the industries to identify that, and we can do that. We can bring the right organisations together and the people to work with the FCE members and to put a project or a plan together with regard to that. Also, in 4 or 5 years, there might be some skills that are no longer required as a result of technology change. So how do you manage that, and how do you transfer those skills that they have and move them into the newer and the higher technology areas, so the companies and the businesses continue to grow and prosper for Algeria.
And as a reminder, on Wednesday, the Heads of Enterprises Forum, presided by business magnate Ali Haddad, headed to London on Thursday to inaugurate its London office. Mr. Khaled Mamour has been officially appointed as the FCE London representative, who said that he is up to the challenge to play an important role in keeping Algeria updated with the UK's economy. For his part, Mr. Ali Haddad, the forum's president, said that Algeria is on its way to success, affirming that the state, unlike previous years, is now working in collaboration with the private sector, which constitutes a great success, as he put it.
Concernant l'information que vous avez donnée tout à l'heure, c'est les autorisations que le gouvernement a données.
Concerning the information that was provided earlier about the permits that the government gave out, it has to do with the oilseed crushing. The private operators benefited from those permits 3 months ago. Concerning sugar, there is no problem. There are a lot of sugar producers today. No need for a permit.
Il y a beaucoup d'opérateurs aujourd'hui qui sont dans l'activité. Donc ما كان حتى تراخيص ولا ما كاش تراخيص.
The recent weather turbulence witnessed in the north, central and somewhat western regions of the country is expected, according to weather forecast services, to reach eastern provinces, predicting a rainy winter season. Hence, Minraz for more details.
The massive torrential rains that hit northern and eastern provinces of the country in the last 2 days will witness a significant improvement starting Friday night. This comes following the National Agency of Meteorology's records on considerable amount of rains exceeding 60 millimeters locally. Weather forecast services have recorded considerable amounts of rains on most of northern, eastern and western provinces. Fortunately, significant improvement will be witnessed starting Friday night. In Wad Quraysh region, we recorded 81 millimeters, more than 40 in Buzariha, in western provinces around 50 millimeters. After northern and central provinces, weather turbulence hits eastern provinces, starting from the province of Dzair to the province of Galma, though considered normal, according to meteorology services predicting a rainy winter season. A special weather forecast announces this weather turbulence will head towards eastern regions. The amount of rains expected to fall in these regions will potentially exceed 60 millimeters. This is nevertheless considered a classic turbulence. It's, after all, fall season, and it's considered a transitional phase towards winter, predicting a rainy winter season. These turbulences recorded in fall seasons not exceeding 100 millimeters are considered seasonal turbulences, serving weather in a way, readjusting temperatures. It's also a good omen for farmers just in time for peasant season.
In spite of the pouring rain, the biggest rehousing operation since the independence of Algeria continues in the capital Algiers, and more precisely in the Ramli neighborhood in the municipality of Constantine Bridge. The operation witnessed a quick pace in the sense that in a 3-day time, 50% of families were already rehoused. Karim Fazdakri.
Despite the harsh weather conditions and the pouring rain, the rehousing operation in the municipality of Constantine Bridge in Algiers is ongoing, and not much of it is left. The number of the rehoused families reached more than 2,000 in the third day of the operation. This operation concerns the neighborhood of Ramli, which is the biggest slum housing district in the capital, which holds about 4,000 slum houses. The operation was launched on Wednesday. Maybe on Saturday or Sunday we will have finished the whole operation. The rehousing process was supposed to be done on 5 stages. Yet, reaching this number of rehoused families at an early stage indicates that the operation will be over with very soon, and in no more than 2-day time. By Sunday, all the families whose names were listed will have been moved to their new houses, whereas the rest are still waiting. They demolished our houses and are now asking us to make an appeal. What's the meaning of this? I wait for 3 years outside to get a house. There's no appeal. Give me a house. Those who didn't benefit from houses, there's an appeal office where their inquiry is going to be studied. Those who deserve will benefit, and those who don't, there are reasons why. In this new city, life has started for the dwellers of Ramli neighborhood, where more than 3,000 families will live in perfect conditions and facilities. After 20 years of waiting and suffering, these families are at last going to have a decent life. Thank God we were relieved after 20 years of misery. We're so happy and we wish the same for the rest. I hope the country is always in peace. This housing operation is not the last and definitely not the least. But what is special about it is that these families were moved to a city where they will find all the conditions for a better and peaceful life.
Moving on to regional news, the Nobel Peace Prize committee confounded expectations Friday by passing figures such as Pope Francis and German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and handed the award to the Tunisian National Dialogue Quartet for its decisive contribution to the building of a pluralistic democracy in the country in the wake of the Jasmine Revolution of 2011. Karim Fazdakri for more details again.
A coalition of Tunisian workers, business owners, rights activists and lawyers won the Nobel Peace Prize on Friday for intervening at a crucial time to push the North African country that sparked the Arab Spring revolutions toward democracy and away from civil war. The Norwegian Nobel Committee cited the Tunisian National Dialogue Quartet for its decisive contribution to the building of a pluralistic democracy following Tunisia's 2011 revolution that overthrew its longtime dictator.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided that the Nobel Peace Prize for 2015 is to be awarded to the Tunisian National Dialogue Quartet for its decisive contribution to the building of a pluralistic democracy in Tunisia in the wake of the Jasmine Revolution of 2011.
The Arab Spring began in Tunisia with protests that brought down the government of longtime dictator Zain al-Abidine Ben Ali in January 2011, but the country fell into crisis in the following years. The quartet helped bring it back from the brink of civil war in the summer of 2013 by persuading the Islamist-led post-revolutionary political leadership to compromise with the opposition over Tunisia's new constitution. The president of the Tunisian League of Human Rights expressed his excitement and surprise by the winning of the prize. Of course we were surprised. It's a nice surprise because we do not know who nominated us in the first place. It isn't a reward for Tunisia only, not just for us, but for the entire Tunisia, because the Tunisian experience of the quartet was the first in the Arab world and in Africa too. For his part, the Tunisian president considered the prize as a boost to national consensus solutions. This is not only a tribute to the quartet, composed of the UGTT, Employers UTICA, the Tunisian League of Human Rights LTDH, and the Bar Association, but it's a tribute to the path we have chosen, that of finding consensus solutions.
وهو الحلول التوافقية وتونس ما عندهاش.
Tunisia has no other solution than dialogue despite the ideological and sectarian disagreements. The joy was also marked on the faces of the Tunisian citizens who kept saying they were all proud and that this was a proof of their love to peace and freedom. This is something which shows Europeans and other continents there are good people among Arabs, people who want peace, who want to live, who want to thrive and love people. This is an encouraging element for opposition parties and the ruling parties who believe in democracy and do not monopolize power. That's honoring Tunisia and its people. The Arab Spring dawned in Tunisia in 2010-2011 with hope and idealism, but quickly spread across parts of the Middle East and to a number of countries in North Africa. But it has seen those ideals mired in bitter reality in many of these countries where the struggle for democracy and fundamental rights has come to a standstill or suffered setbacks, most notably in Syria.
An envoy for Libya, Bernardino Leon, proposed the members of a unity government on Friday aimed at ending years of conflict, but the plan was dismissed by lawmakers in the country's two rival parliaments. The proposed new government would be headed by Faiz al-Sarraj, a deputy in the Tripoli parliament, and include 3 deputy prime ministers, each from the west, east and south of the country. Let's have a listen.
There is, as you know, the previous team to lead the Presidential Council, to lead the government, was 5 personalities. It has been agreed to add 1 personality. There will be 6 members of this Presidential Council. The Prime Minister proposed is Mr. Fayez Sarraj. He's an MP at the House of Representatives from Tripoli. All of them will work as a team. We don't have the time now to dwell on details on the voting system, but this will be a team. Their votes are expected to have the same value in the first rounds of voting, and then in the process, of course, a system to overcome possible blockades will be agreed, but all of them, I insist, will have similar importance, and all of them will have to work as a team.
In Palestine, dozens of Israeli Arab youths clashed with police in Nazareth on Thursday evening during a protest against the occupation forces vis-à-vis the continuous aggression toward Palestinians. The demonstration, which was organized by an Arab youth movement, was initially meant to take place at Nazareth's southern entrance, where large occupation forces were deployed. The location was later changed to the city's center. There are reports of injuries and arrests after violence broke out between the two sides, with the news that the injured include 2 journalists and that 14 arrests have been made. France has smacked Raqqa, east of Syria, launching a new airstrike overnight against the so-called Islamic State training camp. French Defense Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian said on Friday that the striking operation is not the first one, and the latter stated also that the majority of Russia's airstrikes inside Syria have been aimed at supporting President Bashar al-Assad's forces and not targeting ISIS terrorist organization, as Moscow claims. Siam Sado.
France launched a new airstrike overnight in Raqqa, east of Syria, against the so-called Islamic State training camp, and further strikes will follow. French Defense Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian said on Friday that the striking operation is not the first one, adding that French Rafale jets delivered bombs on the training camp and the targets were manned.
France a frappé Daesh en Syrie cette nuit à Raqqa.
We shrank because we know that in Syria, particularly around Raqqa, there are training camps for foreign fighters whose mission is not to fight ISIS, but to come to France, to Europe, to carry out attacks. Furthermore, a French defense minister said that ISIS was France's main enemy, and that the Russian airstrikes were mostly hitting Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's opponents in Syria, and not the so-called Islamic State targets, reiterating that the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad had killed 250,000 Syrians. France launched its first airstrike in Syria on September the 27th, destroying an ISIS training camp near Dar ez-Zor, in the east of the country, saying all the time it was acting in self-defense.
The Nobel Prize for Literature was awarded Thursday to the Belarusian Svetlana Alexievich, author of an important work of testimony about the horrors of the war in Afghanistan and the Chernobyl disaster. She is known for her work as an investigative journalist in Russia and the former Soviet. Hints Minaras.
Investigative journalist Svetlana Alexievich of Belarus was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature by the Swedish Academy on Thursday for her polyphonic writings, A Monument to Suffering and Courage in Our Time, becoming the 14th female winner of the Nobel Prize, which has been awarded to 107 men. She was preceded by Alice Munro, who was given the award in 2013. The 67-year-old author has written several books that lend a human voice to major historical events in the former Soviet Union and Russia, such as the Second World War, the Soviet-Afghan War, and the Chernobyl disaster. Permanent Secretary of the Swedish Academy, Sarah Daria, said that Alexievich's 40-year career has been spent mapping the Soviet and post-Soviet individual, explaining that she adds a layer of humanity and emotion to her writing. One of her notable works is her first book, The War's Unwomanly Face, published 30 years ago, in which she lends a voice to hundreds of more than 1 million Soviet women who fought on the front lines during World War II. Alexievich wrote on her website that when searching for the right genre to use when portraying her vision of the world, she settled on one where human voices speak for themselves. Alexievich held a press conference in Minsk on Thursday, saying that she considers herself a person from the Belarusian world, from Russian culture, and a cosmopolitan of the world. In 2005, she won the National Book Critiques Circle Award for her book Voices from Chernobyl, The Oral History of a Nuclear Disaster. And in 2013, she was awarded the Peace Prize of the German Publishers and Booksellers Association.
And finally, to wrap it up, and in less than a quarter from now, the national Algerian football team lost 1-2 against his Guinean counterpart in a friendly football match at the 5th of July stadium as part of the preparations to the qualifiers for the World Cup 2018 in Russia. This meeting precedes another 4-day meeting of the same kind against Senegal scheduled for Tuesday. National team coach Christian Gourcuff will test the new players who joined the national football team for the first time. These include the 3 elements playing in France: goalkeeper Mehdi Janine, defender Mehdi Tahrat, and striker Saeed Benrahma. The end of our English news edition, brought to you live from Dzair News Channel. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.